Mangini's here.
Good to see you, Coach.
You say it as if we were talking, and there you were.
Coach Mangini, fresh off a great appearance at a Cleveland Cavaliers basketball game, Dad of the Year.
Yeah, you know, when you go to those games late in the season, you are Dad of the Year. It was a rough outing.
We're talking Green Bay Packers coach. The fallout continues.
I'm so glad you're here.
From the Bleacher Report story about the frayed relationship between Aaron Rodgers and his former coach, Mike McCarthy. Rodgers went as far as to call the report a smear attack with slanted opinions stated as facts. More now from Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with his former coach.
I love Mike McCarthy. Mike has been a huge part of my success in my career, and I've had some amazing moments on and off the field with Mike. We have had issues, no doubt about it. Any long relationship has issues, but the way that we dealt with those issues, Mike and I, was face-to-face. We had conversations. Things didn't fester for weeks, months, years. It'd be up in his office. It'd be after a Thursday practice down in the big team room. It'd be in the quarterback room. It'd be at my house sometimes. It'd be at his house sometimes. We spent time together. We talked about things. And even at the most difficult moments, when I was stubborn about something or he was stubborn about something, the conversation ended the same way every time. We came to an agreement and agreed to move forward on the same page. We got up, we hugged each other, we told each other that I love you and I respect you, and then we moved forward together.
All right, Coach, who do you think is more to blame for the Packers' dysfunction, Rodgers or McCarthy?
Well, first of all, I'm going to start with the organization. I had a real problem with the fact that they fired McCarthy when they did. The guy had 2 losing seasons, one of them where Aaron Rodgers is hurt, and they fire him during the season. They don't let him finish the season. To me, that's a sign of dysfunction, you know, at that level.
And McCarthy said in a previous interview just last week, he had a big problem with that as well. He was shocked.
It was just flat out wrong. They won a Super Bowl. He had been there, 13 years, and the success that they had, the combined success, the organizational success, and then to not even give the guy a chance to finish out the season, to me, that's a sign of some organizational dysfunction. And then when you look at this relationship, the truth is somewhere in the middle. The idea that the offense got stale, that Mike McCarthy wouldn't change the game plan, that he wasn't intellectually capable to have advanced schemes, that's silly. There's no truth to that. The idea that Aaron Rodgers' ideas couldn't get in, every quarterback and head coach meet during the course of the week. Every quarterback and offensive coordinator meet during the course of the week. You want to make sure that your quarterback is happy with the things that you're running. Otherwise, they're not going to run it very well. They're not going to be successful. So there's give and take and there's input. And when you have a quarterback as successful as Aaron Rodgers, he gets even more input than a typical younger quarterback would.
To support what Coach is saying as far as Mike McCarthy, I sat down with Mike McCarthy when I was a free agent. He was offensive coordinator with the Saints, the wide receiver coach. Hubbard Alexander was my wide receiver coach in Minnesota and was trying to talk me into playing another year or two, but coming to the Saints to be able to do that. So I was very impressed with his X's and O's and what he was trying to do, how he was trying to attack defenses. So I knew that one was a little far-fetched as far as Mike McCarthy and his football intel. I'm going to blame the organization. They played the biggest fault because they allowed this to go on and to fester on and on. They were able to have success in winning the Super Bowl, but the problem is they should have been more successful. Aaron Rodgers is that kind of quarterback. When you can't support him from a defensive standpoint, you can't support him from a running game standpoint, so you're not going to get from an organization out of the talent what you're supposed to get. It's no different than when Peyton Manning was with the Colts. They won 1 Super Bowl. They should have won. He went to 2 Super Bowls in Denver in 3 years. So they should have gotten more out of him. So I just believe when the organization is not going to support the coach. Now, I do believe McCarthy was at fault. His style, the lack of a physical style, the accountability, trying to treat kids like they're grown. You can't go into the NFL locker room and expect, oh, I'm going to treat you all like grown men. You can't do that. That system didn't work. I believe the players took advantage of it, and the lack of a physical style and of a competent defense that they're going to put one of the greatest quarterbacks, I believe, was a colossal failure.
Listen, I don't want to sound like Thomas Friedman, but I think the market spoke on this. Like, Mike McCarthy was a free agent. 8 teams had openings. Everybody said, nah, we think we can do better. Aaron Rodgers was a free agent this offseason. I think 31 teams would line up for him. I think that Aaron Rodgers obviously has some culpability in this. But when you are in a relationship and one person's value to the organization is so much greater than the others, then it's typically the less valuable person's job, fair or not, to find a way to make it work. They are the person that has to bend to the other person's will. It's not ideal. The ideal is Brady Belichick, where it's hive mind, where they come together, where everyone's giving and taking. I get that. But you don't typically, or Duncan Popovich, you don't always get that. And when you don't have that, then it's, okay, how can I get the best out of the most talented player in the league? And that is something that over the last 5 years, ever since that NFC Championship game in Seattle, I think it's fair to say the Packers were unable to accomplish. Organizationally, they didn't build a good enough defense. Coaching-wise, they didn't build an offense that clearly Aaron Rodgers thought was most suited to his strengths, that Aaron Rodgers thought was the best for the team. Whether he's right or wrong, when you have that level of ability, you almost always get to be right. Unless someone else can show you, no, I bring as much to the table in this way as you. I don't think it's necessarily fair, but I think it's reality.
Well, I don't think it's reality, because to me, and for what I've heard out of Green Bay, Aaron only wants to play a certain way. And that way was where he gets credit. Tom Brady, you're never going to have the Belichick Brady, because as we saw in this recent playoff run, you know what they did? They looked at the roster. Say, how big is those guys over there? Coach, they ain't real big. You know something? I think we should run the ball at them 40 times. That's where we have an advantage. You think they went for Tom Brady's approval? Because through the years, Tom Brady has said, these guys will come up with what is best for me. Aaron Rodgers is not saying that. So trying to think that that coach he's got a limited effect on that team when he doesn't have the quarterback buy-in. That's why I always say that Belichick is far more valuable than Brady, because he helps the special teams. He helps out so many other parts of the team compared to that quarterback. But when you don't have the quarterback buy-in, it hurts the coach's ability to build to coach the rest of the squad.
And we want to look at the market as being the indicator of success or failure. The market spoke on Tom Brady, too. He got drafted in the 6th round. That's where the market was on Tom Brady. It was a little bit wrong. The market for Bill Belichick was 0, except for one guy, Robert Kraft. And they put those 2 guys together. So the idea that the market is the indicator of success or failure, we've had housing crashes, we've had stock market crashes. Sure. So I'm not going to limit it to that. And look, I think Mike is going to get another opportunity. And it is hard to win without an elite quarterback, without a doubt. But there's got to be, for sustained success, there has to be a constant reevaluation of what I can do better. You know, is the quarterback taking less money so that money can go to other people on the team? And we can say, hey, let's go get this guy help. Okay, well, you've got a big chunk of the money. Where are we going to go get that help from? And Tom is willing to do some of those things. It's the whole narrative after this is frustrating on so many levels, and I think it's.
What do you think the narrative is after this?
Well, look, it's kill the coach, it's kill the quarterback to some degree, and it's everybody's different agendas when somebody leaves. If you've got a problem with someone, the strong thing, the right thing to do is go up and deal with that problem face to face. Go up and try to find a solution that can push the organization and the team further. But to wait till someone leaves and then provide sources and stories and half-truths, it's weak. It's wrong.
All right, we'll leave it there. Coach, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Take a break. Coming up, Magic shocked the NBA with his resignation. That's next on First Things First.
That's why we miss Coach, man.